Hello, kings and queens and monarchs.
Matilda Galindo.
I missed saying that shit. Holy fuck. It's been a minute. I think it's been like a month or two. I'm not really sure, to be honest. Anyways, this is not a life update, okay? I'm here to talk about something very sinister and evil and scary, and something that every other YouTuber has done in their career. So yeah, I'm here to talk about the fear of growing up. You know, I've never had that fear until a few weeks ago that I got a job. Yes, I've been mentioning this in every single video, and I'm probably gonna keep mentioning it because it's really surprising for me to get a job, okay? Everyone in my fucking close circle calls me jobless, but now they can't. Haha. Anyways, sorry. Oh my god. Oh shit. So let's get right into it. For me, growing up or being an adult as a child meant something very fucking different from what it means now. What it meant for me as a child, it was like this thing that I already thought I was. So there was no point of becoming. And oh lord, was I so wrong. But I think that mentality comes from this ignorance that you have as a child, that you think you know everything for some reason. And you think that until you get proven wrong. A lot of people don't get proven wrong ever in their lives, which is devastating. I think I have always considered myself very mature for my age and very independent, I guess. Maybe not independent, but yes, very mature. And everyone described me that way. So a big part of what that meant also was kind of being on my own way more than my siblings were, because they were already growing up when I was a child. So they didn't want to fucking play dolls with me, you know? I think it did make me a very independent person and a very mature person. And I knew how to take care of myself. Let's say it like that. But quickly, I did realize that me being mature didn't equal being an adult. Unfortunately. Because I thought that's what it meant, you know? That's why I thought, like, yeah, I'm so mature and, like, I'm never gonna become an adult because I'm already an adult. And whatever the fuck I was thinking, I thought that becoming an adult was getting a house and paying taxes, which is part of what it is, but it's not exactly that. Now, what it means for me now is something that I believe is worth becoming. I think it's worth becoming an adult because sometimes I've known a lot of adults that get stuck and force themselves into this almost character of themselves as a teenager or as a child. And it's very sad to see someone so deep in denial, to be honest, which is not what I want to be. It's still very intimidating for me to think of myself as an adult. And I think that's because I think I skipped the whole messy teenager phase or whatever that you have after you're 15 or something. I didn't get that. Like, when I turned 15, I kept being not a child, but I wasn't having the normal life because, you know, I was dancing most of my days and I was around these people that also were so wrapped up in their own minds and in their own spaces that they didn't really grow up. And that was really scary. When I got out of that old studio that I talk about in every fucking video, I remember realizing how wrapped up you can get if you're just in one space for years and years. There was people in that studio, including me, that were involved in that studio for even a whole decade, okay? And that shit was dangerous, and it's very dangerous because you kind of get stuck in the age that you got in that studio. You get stuck as a 9-year-old if you got in that studio as a 9-year-old. And it was really scary to think because when I got out, I met so many people, so many new people, and I started being with my family way more and just seeing the world with such different eyes that it seemed crazy to me that there were adults in this studio that were behaving like childs or teenagers because that's where they got stuck. It's so easy to get stuck in one place and get stuck in one age for some reason. And so when I got out of this studio and I started to see the world with such different eyes, I felt like I was growing up. But then I started comparing myself a lot with other people my age. And I still do it to this day because I feel like I kind of skipped the whole messy teenager phase. Because I went from being a child and then having responsibilities like my dance studio and all that shit, and being super into deep pressure because of that studio, to then leaving and having no responsibilities at all, and then just deciding what I wanted to do. And if I tell you all that in that order, you think, where the fuck is the messy part? Because that's what every fucking person in the world goes through, right? They go through childhood, then they have responsibilities, then they get messy and weird and insane because they're a teenager and they do insane things, and then they become an adult and they choose what they want to do. But they have this free period, and I don't think I ever had that. I did have freedom. I think I had way too much freedom that kind of led me to not wanting to be crazy and insane. You know that thing that everyone says, that when you have strict parents, you want to do all sorts of crazy shit because you've been restricted your whole life? Well, I'm that case, but I was never really restricted or stopped from doing anything I wanted to do. And it's not because my parents were bad parents, it's just because they trusted me. And because they trusted me, I never felt the need to be fucking crazy and insane. And it's been starting to piss me off a little because I feel like I skipped that whole part, and I feel like it may be important for me to experience it, right? For me to have this life that other teenagers already had or are having right now. And another thing is that I still see myself kind of as a child in some ways because of this same thing. I think when I am around people my own age, which is, but you're gonna see that on my Instagram because I don't want you to hear it from here because I feel like people start taking me less seriously when they hear my age. Anyway, when I'm around people my age, like at a party or whatever the fuck, because I don't even go to parties. Oh my god, I sound like a loser. When I do that, I feel like a child. I feel like, damn, you're so grown up and you know, like you've gone through so many weird shit that I haven't even begin to want to experience. But then when I talk to them about maybe serious stuff, like what I want to do with my whole life and like my career stuff and all that, they all look at me like, holy shit, you're crazy, right? You're crazy for wanting so much at such a young age. Like, why the fuck do you want a Grammy, bruh? And, you know, I get it. But what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm so different and like, I'm so special and no one understands me. No, I'm being serious. I feel like I skipped a whole part of my life and it wasn't on purpose. It was just what happened because of my life. So yeah, that has been frustrating me a lot. Because when I'm around adults, for some fucking reason, I feel like I fit in, which is scary. But something that I don't think I feel the same as adults do is that I feel like I'm a little bit more hopeful about life than adults are. I feel like a lot of adults get stuck in this mentality that, well, I guess this is my life and this is the system and this is just what's gonna happen to me. Like, I have no option. What? I understand the privilege that I have to be saying that shit, but it genuinely baffles me how many people get stuck in this mentality of, this is just the system and this is just my life and this is just the job that I got and this is all it's ever gonna be. I'm so sorry, man, but it's just so scary to think that sometimes I think I can get stuck really easily in other people's mentalities, especially the ones that I am around with. And being around so many adults lately, especially at my job, makes me scared of thinking that I'm gonna start thinking that about my dreams, you know? That's why, okay, Not to sound like an idiot, but I was scared of getting a job because I was really scared of forgetting about my dreams. Not like forgetting about them, because I don't think you ever forget, but just not fighting for them anymore. That was a really scary part of getting a job, because getting a job obviously takes up your time, right? And before this, I had this freedom to do whatever the fuck I wanted. But quickly I realized that that freedom wasn't serving me anymore. It may have served a purpose like a few months back. It served a big purpose, that freedom, for a long time. Because I was free to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And I made a bunch of songs, and I I was just really free. Okay? But that freedom stopped working when I wasn't experiencing anything else, and so everything else started falling apart. Like my social life that was already almost non-existent, but with me having that much freedom and no one else having that much freedom basically meant that I wasn't going to be interacting with anyone else but my family, which drove me a little insane. And also, I wasn't experiencing anything new, so I didn't have anything to write about. I was living off old memories, which wasn't fun. So I have had this fear for a long time, but I think me getting a job kind of just confirmed me. But then I realized it's so much easier to separate your personal life from your coworkers' lives, because it's just easier. When you're in school, it isn't easy at all. It's a fucking pain in the ass, to be honest, to be hiding your personal life, because your whole personal life is school. But at this time, it isn't. My job is just my job, you know? And if you're curious about what I do for my job, um I work at a stationery store and I make piñatas, because piñatas, why am I saying it like piñatas? Okay, I make piñatas because it's really fun. It's really fucking fun. I always loved crafts. So this is really fun. Anyways, what I've been trying to say this whole fucking video is that I'm trying to find a balance between the life that I never had, which was kind of being a messy, weird, insane teenager, and the life I'm kind of having right now, which is sort of adulthood. I'm trying to find a balance, and I think I'm finding it. To be honest, I think I am finding it. Um, which is really comforting, because I was really scared of getting a job. um, and I think the difference between what I perceive from many adults and me is that adults do complain but conform, and I complain and I don't conform. So I think that maybe settles me as a teenager pretty much. And I think one of the things that has been keeping my hope alive, anything besides my youth, is my art. I think my art has been keeping me alive for so long, and it's keeping my hope of a better life than what I have right now, and of me achieving my dreams and getting what I want. And just, I don't want to conform. I don't want to just accept the fucking system and accept that this is the life that was chose for me. Oh my god. How fucking depressing. I don't want to accept that shit. And it's not because I hate my life, it's because I'm not gonna conform with something that isn't what I want. I don't care. I don't care if that sounds selfish. It's my own life, bitch. You know? I'm not gonna conform. Anyway, I think the definition that I got now, accepting things that you can change and pay taxes. Basically, I don't know, man. I think I still have some youth in my soul, and I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase, and I'm probably gonna butcher it, but there's this phrase that I'm not sure who said it, that goes like, teenagers have something that adults end up forgetting. And I know every single teenager has said, I don't want to forget, you know? But sorry. But it's not that I'm in denial of forgetting, but I don't think my hope is ever gonna fucking die. And I don't think my ambition is ever gonna fucking die because I've been this way since I was a kid, right? So what I want to do and the balance that I've been trying to find pretty much sums up in accepting things that I can change and fight for the things that I want to change. That's all there is, man. I'm not gonna live a life that I don't want. All right. That was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening me yap for about, I'm guessing, 12 minutes because I'm gonna edit all the burps and pauses that I make throughout this video. If you want to keep seeing videos like this or maybe more political and more serious than this, you can subscribe to my channel. I also post a lot of music in here and on TikTok and on my Instagram. All of that is in my channel description. And what else? What else? What else? If you want to listen to some of my music that is pretty shitty recorded, you can listen to it on SoundCloud. And if you want to wait for me to record actual proper music, it's probably coming next year. So if you want to stick around, that would be fucking cool. I would like you to see that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Goodbye.